G'day everyone, Simon here, Explosive Action, back for another metal vinyl update. Got 9 records to show and talk about, so let's get into it. Before I get into the first record, I want to talk about a concert I saw a couple of days ago. Emperor, I finally got to see them play in the Nightside Eclipse pretty much all the way through. So they came out in, I think it was 2018, maybe 19, and did Anthems to the Welcome at Dusk, which is pretty much my top black metal album. And this time they came out and did mostly Nightside, and that was great. They played it start to finish. I think they might have missed one of the later tracks, I can't quite recall. And then they picked sort of the best of anthems to play as well. They also chucked in 1 track each from the 2 later albums. So it was a really great mix. Everyone had a blast. It was a pretty much sold out venue. Got to catch up with a few mates. I got to see Jeff from Medicant Media. We had a bit of a beer and a catch up, which was good. So yeah, if you've not seen Emperor and they happen to be coming your way, do go check them out. It's a great show. The first 2 I'm going to show, I'm only going to show very briefly because I've talked about them in detail over at Heavy Metallurgy. That is the band Häxanu. This one is Snare of All Salvation, and the one that I particularly talked about in my review is Totem Pass, the new album that came out in February. I just wanted to prompt people to go check that review out because it's not on this channel, it's on Heavy Metallurgy. The link will be down below. But in brief, this is a 2-piece US black metal band with an album that's got a German name and has song titles that are frequently in Greek. Go figure. But, you know, it's fantastic. I honestly have to say, sort of fresh sounding black metal. It's got melody, it's got the riffs, it's got the ferocity, it's got everything you want from black metal. And it's sort of the brainchild, I guess, of Alex Paul, who is in Chaos Moon and Guardgaster and a slew of other bands. He's in a heap of bands. So yeah, really great stuff. Very fresh take on the genre that is still respectful to the old ways. And my short version is go check it out. They rule, but yeah, go check out my review. Next one I want to check out is a very new band. This is a band called Moortrieder, Towards the Hill of Triumph, and the debut album from this band. German one-man black metal band. The individual behind it also goes by the name of Moortrieder. Not sure if it's Moortrieder, Moortrieder. Haven't heard it pronounced. As I said, it's a very new band. Not many people have been talking about this one. I kind of tripped over this because I'm on a few Facebook groups related to metal and vinyl, and somebody said they ordered this, and to save on shipping, because we're in Australia, they ordered 2 copies and they were letting the other one go at the regular price. And I thought, well, that's a good deal. And I listened to it quickly online. I thought, yeah, this is exactly the kind of thing I am into. So mutually helping each other out there, I think, and I got something really, really nice. It's got sort of a dungeon synth opening and closing tracks. I mean, it's got a giant castle. I think you're going to start to understand where this is going. 6 tracks, the start, intro and outro, dungeon synth type things, very traditional dungeon synth. I'm actually using the words appropriately there. It sounds like dungeon synth. And then 4 very straight ahead 90s sounding black metal tracks in the middle. Very similar, but I guess less romantic aesthetic. There's the guy there of sort of Kektarak. You know, I think people have been talking about them for a while. They're a solid band. There's a lot of similarities here. Even has a puffy shirt, but he doesn't have the rose in his hand, right? So it's less sad boy and a little bit more castles, and that's what you get with Moortrieder. It's not all breakneck speed. There's some pretty fast stuff in here. It's a bit more visceral than Kektarak, I think. But it's got a lot of slower, reflective moments with some underlying synth behind it. The 4th track, particularly on this one, where is it? The Enchanted Crypt on side B opener. That one is quite a sluggish track. Like, that's not at all like the 2nd and 3rd tracks on the album. So that was a nice change up. Very well mixed as well. It's not super clean and crisp like the Häxanu. This is, yeah, it's definitely like, you know, that Kektarak kind of analog black metal sound. But audible, clean bass, nice fast trem guitars, a bit of a reverb on the vocals. The vocals actually remind me of the Shagrath on particularly on Dimmu Borgir's Devil's Path EP, which is just really like raspy and violent. Actually has that sound here, I found, so that was really good. You could easily convince me that this was a lost 1996 project from, you know, the quality of the music, the production. It fits in very nicely. It doesn't scream modern. It is obviously not trying to be. If Iron Bonehead put this out and said they found it in a vault, I would have easily believed them. But no, this is a self-released, just independent thing. I don't think there's any label on here. Well, there you go, Mortal Right Records. I don't know who that is. I think it's just the band. Who knows? Made in Germany, limited to 300 copies. Now, as I said, I got one because someone else in Australia imported it. So I'll leave the links below. It is pretty fresh. It came out in April, I think. So go check the Bandcamp and see if there are copies. But it's really, really good. Recorded in 2022, came out in, it's March or April this came out, so it's very fresh. And it's really, really good. We'll take a quick look inside. It's just a black LP with old mate there on the spine, on the center. Imprinted logo there, which I'm not sure if it's the band's logo or this Mortal Rights Records. You get a little poster. It's the same artwork there. It says Hesia Gloria at the top. So that's neat. And you get a photo there as the ruin closed its path, and another photo there. Incredibly thin paper stock on that. No lyrics or anything, so there you go. Moortrieder, Towards the Hills of Triumph. Very traditional sounding black metal and really, really good stuff. Next up, I'm very happy to have my copy of the new Lamp of Murmuur Saturnian Bloodstorm. I know this has been getting a lot of hype, a lot of talk lately, so I won't talk too much about it. This is the new one from Lamp of Murmuur. The band, it's been going for, I mean, not too long, probably maybe 5 years tops, but they've been quite prolific. So many releases have come out through this name, Lamp of Murmuur. Yeah, this is showing a bit of an evolution here. So, as I said, I've been buying since the first demos, and it's been interesting seeing the band change. Very subtly at first, but then the last album, they infused this sort of 80s goth bit into it, and I didn't think it was overwhelming, but people were making a big song and dance about it. I thought it felt quite natural, and really good album. But let's be real, this one here, Saturnian Bloodstorm, this sounds like Immortal. There's no two ways around it. It's obviously what the intention was. This is Abyss Studios' Immortal Worship. Yeah, I mean, this is like Battles in the North, played with At the Heart of Winter production. There you go. I have described the album. Of course, there's some, you know, the original earlier Lamp sound is still here. It's still in there. It's just so much well produced than it has been before. And that really just, it just elevates it into, I guess, a wider audience, I suppose, now. It's why there's so many people talking about this thing. And that combined with, yeah, the riffs are probably chunkier and do have that Abath and Demonaz sound to them now. So, yeah, Saturnian Bloodstorm is, I don't want to say radical departure, but it's a serious evolution over everything that's come before it. You know, and a welcome change. It's been pretty cool to see these guys, or this guy really, make so many changes over the years. I don't know if that is if this is going to be the template going forward. Is it going to change up and be something else? We're going to go to like Judas Iscariot worship next. I'd have no idea. I do know it's become a bit more of a band now. It was a one piece, but he's assembled like a live act and is playing live. And there you go. There's the back of it. So this is the Not Cult Records version. I got the black. They also did I think it might have been red or maroon version, and in the UK or in Europe there was a blue version, and they shared the black. So I ended up with the black. That was just the one that was available. Probably still is available. There was, I think, quite a few copies of this thing made, and my copy finally showed up this week from the US. So yeah, really happy to have it. And rather than just keep talking about it, I'm going to direct you to, once we take a look at the inside here at this ginormous gatefold, which is really nice. Go check out Ben Brainsmasher's review, also on the heavy metallurgy. He dug into this thing, quite details as well. Let's go black LP, nothing too exciting there. So yeah, go check out his review to really get the full idea. because I can sit here and go, sounds like Immortal. He did a lot more than that in 10 minutes. So definitely go check it out. If you've never liked Lamp of Murmur to this point, start here. Reevaluate. Because, yeah, those comparisons to Immortal, they're very true. So give them a go. This is Lamp of Murmur. Saturnian Bloodstorm. Really good stuff. Also talking about Lamp of Murmur, I picked up one of their older titles that got a reissue. This is the Punishment and Devotion EP. Came out just this month and is a reissue of the 2022, I think. It's only a year old. That was sold originally at a London live show only. And they had 100 copies and they sold them only at the show. And it was pretty adamant at the time that no, just a gig special, you had to be there to get it. And of course what that meant is copies instantly, probably before their purchasers' ears had stopped ringing from the show, were on Discogs for 4 times the price. That's been a theme with Lamp of Murmur over the years. They say they don't like it, and they have been reissuing every single thing. It took them a while to get there, but they have reissued everything they've done at least once, if not twice. And here we are finally getting the Punishment Devotion EP reissued by Death Prayer Records, and yeah, happy to fill this gap in the collection. So this one here is 2 new tracks from the sessions of the Punishment and Slavery album. So the album and the EP came out pretty much at the same time. It might have been day-to-day release, I'm not entirely sure, but they were very, very similar timings. So Punishment and Slavery was the album, Punishment Devotion was the EP, the sort of extra tracks. You get 2 extra tracks on here that definitely feel like they would just fit on the album naturally. Perhaps they were B-sides, I don't really know the context here, but good solid tracks. Just, you know, they're at that time where they're still doing a bit more raw sounding black metal, but they've started to add in that sort of 80s goth thing that I mentioned, just a little bit there. Like, it's not like I'm saying it turned into a goth band, or am I? Because the 3rd track on here is called Qual, Q-U-A-L, which is a band I hadn't heard of, but Exmel Deutschland is the name of the band, and I checked out what the original song was, and it is a 1983 goth song, goth sort of post-punk kind of thing, and their cover here sounds exactly like that. It really does. There's very little differences. The vocals here are maybe a little bit more raspy, like it's not the usual black metal sound of the first 2 tracks. It is definitely a goth rock song that they're playing Lamp of Murmur style. It gets a bit more harder as it goes on to sort of the second half of the song. It starts to get a little bit more black metal, but yeah, ultimately they've just done a cover song. It's pretty cool. It was interesting, and it's got more dynamics in the drums because it's not a raging black metal song. Almost sounds a little disco at some times. But yeah, the other tracks, As My Pain Contorts in the Dionysiac Vortex, and Forever Bound to the Will of the Spectres is, yeah, standard Lamp of Murmur black metal that very happily would have fit on the Slavery album that came out at the same time. So yeah, good stuff. I wouldn't say essential or anything like that, but at this point I was just, you know, filling in the blanks, and I have now filled in the blanks. That is all of it for me. So there you go, the purple, nice color there. I think the original was black. So yeah, nice. And there is some other bits and bobs in here. We got a Death Prayer promotional card and some artwork there, and an upside down. There you go. All songs written, etc. So yeah, pretty simple release, but nice one. A couple of tracks and a cover. Good stuff here. Lamp of Murmur, Punishment and Devotion. Next up we have the Sophomore album from this New York 2-piece band. This is Fellwinter, The Dawn of Winter. The first release at all I've been able to obtain from Blood and Crescent Records. Is a fairly new record label, and I'm not too sure where they came from or how it all began or who was running it, but it is the record label that is doing Gauntlet Ring, and I've yet to be able to obtain any Gauntlet Ring releases. They come and go instantaneously. They're gone in minutes. Copies trickle out to some distributors and they're gone in minutes, and they always go in European time when I'm asleep, so I've missed everything, which is a shame because the Gauntlet Ring stuff has been fantastic. And Fellwinter here, okay, we'll dig into it. This is a 2-piece band made up of the same 2 people in Gauntlet Ring. There you go. It's very raw, very still melodic, but raw black metal. Two main members, as I said, Taurus and Mercenary from Gauntlet Ring. And look, it's got to be said, it's not that dissimilar from Gauntlet Ring. There is some little bits that you will notice are a difference to make it a distinct entity, but it's not night and dark. Not night and dark. It's not day and night. That's what I'm trying to say. It is pretty much in the same ballpark. Might be a tad folky in this, particularly the intro. The intro track on here could have fit on like a main Garm album for sure. But then it goes into the ripping raw black metal. It's got blast beats, deep beat, trem riffs, barked vocals, all your good stuff. Some slower, more triumphant riffs. Very, very traditional sounding black metal. It is. It really is. But it's really good stuff. I've played this 3 times already. It's giving me what I wanted. Really shows why people are jumping after this Blood and Crescent release stuff. The things from Gauntlet Ring and Fellwinter. I do wonder if the two guys are just running that label, Blood and Crescent. I really don't know. It's all a little bit... I don't know. It's just... You don't really know, to be honest. And I don't really know. But it's really good, Fellwinter. And I was kind of lucky to get this one. And I will be keeping my eye out in future for more Gauntlet Ring and Fellwinter releases. Hopefully I can get some more. Vocally on this one sounds pretty much like pure Holocaust era Immortal. Very, very similar sounding there to Abath. 10 tracks, 36 minutes, straight ahead black. I mean, look at the back. It looks like a Dark Throne album. It's telling you what you're going to get. Obviously, the comparisons, as I said, are to Gauntlet Ring if you know them. But it's just raw, straight ahead black metal. Exactly what you want. It's 1994. It's good time. So yeah, the only shame is that, yeah, Blood and Crescent is a bit like Godo RX of 2021. You have to know when it's going to drop, and you hit F5 1,000 times and really hope and pray that you can get there. I didn't have to do that this time. I had another way of getting this, and I'm very thankful for that. CD copies, though, yes, CD copies do last longer, so if you are a disc flavored person, you can probably still get stuff right now. Go and look on Blood and Crescent, and maybe go check out some of your usual distributors. Just black LP there. And on the inside, you get this photo of Taurus. There's the lyrics. So it is a 2-piece, but I think it's largely Taurus side project, and Mercenary from Gauntlet Ring is contributing. Like, I don't know if he's 100% a full-time member or is just, session or whatever, but yeah, anyway, it's good stuff. Fellwinter, the Dawn of Winter, really, really good. Straight ahead, black metal. Switching gears to some death metal now. This is one I've been hanging to get for months. I think it might have come out last year, or very early this year. Copies didn't just magically make their way here. They often do a little earlier than this one did. Nearly imported it a few times. I don't know, it just didn't quite happen, but it's finally in my hands now, and I'm very, very happy to have the new Imprecation in Nomine Diaboli. Great band. Imprecation, a fantastic band. This is as good as I anticipated, and I've only had the one listen so far. I'll have to be frank there. Haven't had a full time to digest it, but it was immediate off the back. The first riff on this thing, the first note, as soon as they just hit into that first note, it was exactly like the last 2 albums, exactly like the demos before it. It took me exactly where I knew it was going to take me, and that was a fantastic thing. These guys are heavy as a boatload of bulls going to an elephant restaurant. I don't know where I was going with that, but this is awesome. So Imprecation, if you don't know about them, they are a Texas band. They did a bunch of demos in the 90s. And we got a Repulse Records CD compilation back in like 96, something like that. And I was content with that. I've had that forever. And I thought, well, that's it. One of those bands you're never going to get any more of, like Infesta. I don't think anyone expected them to reform in 2012 and release 3 successive albums on Dark Descent Records, but they're all excellent, dark, occult, ancient death metal, playing exactly like they did in 1992, devoid of trends. They're just playing Imprecation, and it's very, very good. Like I said, I've only afforded this one the one spin so far, but it is obviously excellent. I've never had anything from Imprecation fail me. If you've never heard the band, they're kind of, yeah, like Infesta and Incantation and that kind of stuff, but they were there at the same time, 1992. This is not a modern band playing like Incantation. They were probably playing with Incantation. I really don't know the history there, but such a good band and a really good, so far on one listen, a really good follow-up third album here. Thick, chunky riffs. It's that opening riff on here is just dun, and it got me straight away because it's just, they've kept the same production, they've kept everything the same. It's just, here's more Imprecation. Very, very good. There is sort of still like lots of change-ups though. It's not just like, you get a 4-minute track with just a dirge. It's not that at all. That's why these guys are interesting. It'll be fast, it'll be slow. There is lots of, not quite breakneck speed, not quite funeral doom speed. Like they have fast but not grind. They have slow doom but just not dirge. It's sort of in that middle area, and it's really like, it's got wonderful dive bombs. You know me and my dive bombs. It's very honest. I think that was the word I was coming to with this. It is very honest sounding death metal. It's exactly what death metal sounds like. It sounds like death. It is death, and it is evil, and it is decay. It is bodies in blood with a screwed up fallen angel on the cover, and it's Latin album titles about the devil. It is exactly what you think it is, and it is fantastic. They're a 5-piece, as I said, out of Texas, and members of the band have been or are in like Thornspawn, Oath of Cruelty, Blaspherian, like all over the map. And this one is another one on Dark Descent Records. So yeah, only the one listened so far, but I'm confident to tell you, if you like Imprecation, just go pick it up. And if you like, particularly I'm going to say, if you like Infesta and you've somehow avoided Imprecation, just go pick this up. Take that as a blanket recommendation. We'll take a look in here. Just another black LP, nothing too exciting. And a lyric sheet, which you can't really read from there. There's the band photo. Looks like, what are they doing here? They're over I don't know if they're over a table that's a weird tomb or something, but they're looking incredibly metal. Like, this guy's got a Mortem shirt on, I think. There is a very inactive looking like organ over there. Yeah, death and decay, my god. And looks like we've got a poster. Haven't unfolded this yet. There you go. It's the same as the back cover, I think. So won't take that any further there. And yeah, inside again. Good stuff. Imprecation in Nomine Diaboli. This is really good. Imprecation are really good. Check it out. Next up, we have the second full-length album from California's Voidceremony. Just look at that album cover. Absolutely gorgeous. That's an album cover. It's fantastic. These guys. This is a band to continue watching out for. After the last album in 2020, which was a serious evolution from the EP before it, it was pretty obvious that they had, I don't want to say changed direction, but they'd really added the word progressive to their death metal. And they've continued that path here with Threads of Unknowing. So that last album was 2020. Here we are in 2023. This has just come out. Bit of history. Voidceremony is guitarist Garrett Johnson's band since inception in 2013. So been around a decade now. The lineup's changed a little bit over the years, not too radically, but this particular lineup is just top tier. So we've got Australian represent Damon Bloodgood here on bass from Stargazer and Cauldron Black Ram. If you know Stargazer, yes, in this band, definitely applying not only his skills, but that Stargazer sound has leaked right into Voidceremony. Fretless bass too, I believe. I don't know much about instruments, to be honest, but you can tell the difference between bass and fretless bass, and the way he plays on here, it's very clean bass sound, but very technical and doesn't just play to the guitar riff. This is like, you know, death, individual thought patterns, that kind of thing, right? Obviously, that tone and that way of playing gives it a lot of prominence in the mix, so it's right there if you like your bass. Also, we get some pretty fantastic and diverse drums from Charles Corin from Funeburn, another fantastic band. He's also in Holder these days, and Chthonic Deity and a bunch of other things, so he's been around the traps doing some great work and fantastic drumming on this one. But the addition on this album that wasn't on the previous one is Phil Tugas from Cathedalist, Atramentus. He's a guitar wizard. He's on this album now. He was on Worm's latest EP. So if you wondered why the last Worm album EP was just so much more in the guitar virtuoso space, that was Phil Tugas. His main band is First Fragment. So another wonderful addition here to the band. So like I said, the whole thing is just next level now. Okay, it's hard to pigeonhole really what you're doing here with Voidceremony, but I guess just calling it progressive death metal will give you a starting point. It sounds like the sum of all its parts. All those bands from the band members I just mentioned, particularly that Stargazer sound, that Cathedalist sound, that's a lot of that in here. Blood Incantation, some old Atheist, of course, particularly their second album. It's an album here that, luckily, I've had the digital copy for probably about 3 weeks now, and I've been playing that when I'm out and about on the train, and that's helped me digest it because I've only had the LP for 3 days. And if this was my first listen to the album, I'd still be scratching my head. I'd be like, "There's a lot going on here," and it is definitely one of those. It's not immediate. It is in some ways it's immediate because you know instantly this is quality, okay? But it's not like you can play one track and know the hook and the chorus, and it's nothing like that at all. You need a few goes at it, and luckily I've had that time, so I can tell you, it's an excellent album. Yeah, at least 3 listens I think is the minimum before you can start really understanding what's going on here. Really, really good stuff. I don't want to make it sound like this is, top hat death metal or anything like that, but it's the sum of its parts. The members know what they're doing. It's not just, caveman death metal or anything like that. It is really, really strong death metal. Absolutely good stuff. Please do check it out. And in here we get LP, which again is just on black, and sort of booklet here. You get the band logo, and I like how they have a logo for the album title. That's nice. And there's the lyrics, nice fold out, some nice line art there, and thanks list on the back. Awesome stuff. And yeah, Voidceremony, Threads of Unknowing, by far and away an improvement over the previous album, which was already an improvement over their previous work. So, if this trajectory continues, these guys are going to be just dominating the progressive death metal in a very short time. So here you go, Voidceremony, Threads of Unknowing, top shelf. The last one here is an OG press. I am incredibly happy to tick off my wants list. It is, on any given day, my favorite album across anything. I've had this on CD since 1996 or so when I think I picked it up. It is just foundational and fundamental to me sitting here talking to you about music. It is groundbreaking for me and for, I think, many other people. Carcass, Necroticism. As I said, this is the original press, the original Earache Records Mosh, what are we? Mosh 42. This copy came up locally, and the price was reasonable, and I negotiated it slightly more reasonable, so it always pays to ask, you never know. And I mean, what do I need to say? This is a death grind masterpiece. I don't think anyone's going to dispute me in the comments on that one. This album spawned so many clones. They were already getting clone bands, but this really, this was a genre-defining moment. I've played the CD hundreds of times, without a lie, probably hundreds of times. I know every song on this backwards. In Propagation, amazing opening track. I love that sort of, I don't know what it is, that I've never understood what it is. Is it like some kind of synthetic effects, like the very doomy kind of dun, dun, dun. I don't know what that is. Is it keyboards? But very ominous, and then it comes in with the keyboards, and it has it's like, I don't know if it's some kind of like TV documentary or some kind of medical documentary, just going through the procedures of death. and it sets the tone, and then Propagation's a fantastic track. Corporal Jigsaw Quandary, I think most people watching this video have instantly started hearing that double kick in their head right now. It is just the it's just the best thing ever. Symposium of Sickness, Pedigree Butchery. God damn. That's just side A. Side B, Incarnated Solvent Abuse. Quite possibly Carcass's best track. If you had to make me choose one, I would probably point at that. The riff on that thing is just fucking outstanding. The video clip is perverse and hilarious. Just so good. Carnius Cacophony, amazing. The Impossible to Say, Lavaging Expectorate of Lysergide Decomposition, fantastic. And the finale, Forensic Clinicism, the Sanguine Article, wraps it all up nicely. It's Carcass, it's Necroticism, it's the original press. I'm friggin' stoked. It plays extremely well. I'd rate the whole thing as a pretty strong VG+, all across. There's the lyrics. Fantastic. Always loved it. I think this was the one where they... Is this where they started? Yeah, Bill Steer started to name his leads. So here you have the guitar lead, and he's called this one Humanure. Now, where have you heard that word before? Thank you, Cattle Decapitation. That just goes to show you the inspiration of this kind of thing. And I will bring this out because it is an original. There's the wonderful, pretty good nick. Pretty good nick. There's a couple of scuffs and things, but gave it a wet clean. It sounds perfect. And look, it's my #1 album of all time. If you put a gun to my head, some days I might even choose Symphonies of Sickness, but let's be real, this is the one that really started it for me. So honestly, Necroticism is my favorite album of all time. Awesome. And that's the way to round this one off as far as I'm concerned. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. I've got quite a few records that have come in the last couple of months, and I'm behind on showing them. There's a few more coming in, so expect another one of these pretty soon, and I might try and mix it up again with a bit of black, bit of death, so we'll see how we go. Hope you all enjoyed. Please do like, subscribe, check out the links in the description to give a listen to these things. Check out this thing. Check out this thing. I'll see you next time.